Hey, hello, Mike. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I guess doing this podcast. My Dara might
Oh,
pop in. I'm not sure. If he is, hopefully I can readjust our cameras quickly.
I doubt that, but we'll see. Um,
Well, hello, Queen Boo. How are you?
and by that I mean I doubt that you'll be able to readjust quickly. I hope that
Well,
Dara does come in because it's been too long,
I uh, I
and we
I
were
d-
hoping to see him.
I did set up the frames for a three-man frame. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it will work.
Threesome.
Yes, a big sausage-filled threesome.
Well, I mean, some people would call it a threesome. I don't know if I would.
Okay. Uh, Anything been going on with you?
Oh, working, living life. What
Yeah.
about you?
No, just this channel. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I
How's
I
how's the channel?
Oh, and perler beads, I guess. Perler beads have entered my life again because I showed it to my girlfriend who was in the chat and she fell in love with it.
Ooh, did you make anything good?
Yeah, let me see. I made a bub from Bubble Bobble, a
Nice.
an Armo statue from Zelda Link's Awakening. She made like a Paper Mario esque. No, well, maybe like I'm not sure what version of Mario that is, but she made like Mario putting up the victory sign. I got a fire flower over there, a question mark block, what are they called in the first Zelda? Moblin. I've got a Moblin from the first Zelda, um,
Moblins, yeah.
and some coins. And then she made some stuff at home that was a little bit probably more interesting. She made like this chibi like SNES version of Kanye West.
Okay.
Yeah.
She a Kanye fan? I didn't know that.
No, there was somebody at her work that like requested it.
Okay. You've never taken my requests. I could have you make a few. Although you did make me a Mega
No,
Man
I
X
did.
many years
I
ago.
drew to Mega Man X. I remember that. Yeah.
That's true, but I'm just saying if you're taking requests, I have others.
Well, give Bruna the request. She's interested in that more than I
I,
am.
I'm a fan of sprites, man.
Yeah, I know.
Some Chrono Trigger ones, some
I'm about
ooh,
to
well,
make a
Mega Man X is always good.
Chrono Trigger one for myself. I'm gonna do Chrono when he's casting spells. When he's like
Okay.
hovering. Yeah, yeah,
It's like Jesus pose.
yeah. His Jesus pose exactly. That's the
Okay,
pose
yeah.
he casts spells in, and the pose he dies in. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he gets resurrected.
He
Also
can't.
Jesus.
He can be resurrected. You don't have to resurrect him.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
technically a side quest.
Yes, you can beat the game without him and keep him dead, but he's Jesus. You got to resurrect him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Enough Jesus.
It's only fair.
Enough Jesus talk. What are we
All
talking
right.
about this week? I didn't draw up a document. I thought we would go by the seat of our pants to see how terrible that goes.
Well, we want to talk about Bethesda because that's some big, huge, huge, major gaming news.
Yeah, that's the biggest news. For sure. No doubt. It's insane.
Hmm.
If you don't
Hmm.
know, Bruna, I know you're in chat. You're never going to have to say in like a year, you're never going to have to try to pronounce Bethesda ever again because
Hmm.
Xbox has purchased them. They're now part of Xbox Game Studio. So
Yes.
that means that the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Quake, Starfield, and a bunch more stuff is now all under the umbrella of Xbox, which is insane. And I'm gonna get this
Yeah.
out of the way right away, so you don't make fun of me later. I'll just have you do it now. That also means that all of these are first party titles, which means they're going to be coming to Xbox Game Pass day and date.
Hmm.
So now Game Pass has this like plethora of AAA games that will be available to people for $5 to $15 a month, which is crazy.
Hmm.
Um, what else is there to say about
Yeah.
this? There's a lot of questions to ask about this. Like, is this the biggest?
Hmm.
Is this the biggest merger in gaming history? Or I guess it's not a
I would.
merger. It's an acquisition. The biggest acquisition in gaming
It's an
history.
acquisition, definitely. It's huge. I believe I saw it was $7 billion. Was that
Seven,
right, or was that more?
seven
Seven
point five.
7.5. Now Disney paid 4 billion for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So it's almost double what Disney paid for Star Wars.
How can that be
Um
real?
It is real. I
I
mean,
know.
Microsoft has the money to do it.
I mean, they didn't
It's
technically they didn't buy Bethesda, right? They bought ZeniMax Media.
mhm.
I'm not sure what they have besides Bethesda. Um, so I don't know if like you're going to take that 7.5 billion into account with everything else that ZeniMax has. But like
Mhm.
I certainly don't care. I guess um, beyond this stuff. Sorry, I cut you off
Uh,
there.
no, no, I was actually reading a little bit more because I didn't know it was a parent company.
Yeah,
I'm going back here. They did purchase Mojang, which makes Minecraft,
yeah.
and that was in 2014. That was for 2.5
Uh oh.
billion. It
Oh,
was a huge, still is a huge deal.
I almost lost you for a second. I think you're back. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Can, can you hear me? Okay.
Yep. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, so they purchased Mojang back in 2014 for 2.5 billion.
Yeah.
So this is, quite a bit more. I'm not sure what else um, ZeniMax owns. I'm trying to look at this article here, but I'm not seeing much. Um, hmm. But this, like, right now, I'm looking at an article from CNBC. So this mentions that the gaming had a huge boost this year due to quarantine,
Yeah.
and game sales and hardware sales are quite a bit up from where they were last year's, and then we have new consoles coming out in the fall too. So gaming is only going to continue to make them more money. So they do anticipate this to eventually lead to a profit for Microsoft.
This is kind
But
of I feel like this is kind of a brilliant masterstroke. Like they did
yeah,
it they did it the day before the pre-orders went up, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And
yeah.
like what a moment. I mean, probably would have been better to announce it a week before. But they announced
Well,
it basically the day before pre-orders went up.
well, here's the thing. What have we been saying this whole time? There's no games for
There's no
Xbox.
games for Xbox. I was just about to bring this up. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So here we go. You just bought a game studio, a triple A, very high quality. I would say a top tier, top five game studio in the
They
world.
didn't just buy a game studio. They bought a family of game studios, all that have flagship
Yes,
products. Amazing flagship
yes,
products.
yes. And these go back into gaming history too. That's another big problem with Xbox is that they don't have a lot of legacy titles. You know what I mean? Like Nintendo, you can go, oh, I played that 30 years ago.
Yeah.
PlayStation, you can go, I played that more than 20 years ago. Xbox, aside from Halo Gears, they don't have like a lot of these legacy titles. This
No.
is Doom's going back to the early '90s. Wolfenstein,
Goes
um,
back even further.
yeah, and then you got Elder Scrolls, which is also goes back for decades, but that's a name.
Yeah.
Skyrim. I,
They have
Microsoft owns Skyrim now.
they now own I think every single major Western RPG franchise.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they have a stranglehold on the Western RPG front.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, people are dying for them to release some KOTOR. This could be a great opportunity to do that.
yeah. Also
Um,
now that like the studio that makes what I can't remember what their name is, the guys who made like the outer worlds and that kind of stuff, they're the original developers of Fallout New Vegas. So now you have an opportunity for those guys to work on a Fallout game again.
I saw that on Twitter. People were tweeting about New Vegas too.
Yeah. Or something in the
Yeah.
vein something in the vein of it worked on by
Hmm.
some of those developers would be amazing, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Fallout took a blow with Fallout 76, but going
Obsidian.
back, Obsidian, yeah,
Obsidian.
because Obsidian also does Dishonored, right? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, Dishonored is in here too. Dishonored is part of this.
Yeah, so Dishonored's also really good too. My wife is extremely into the Dishonored games.
Yeah.
A lot of good stealth action in those. I'm a big Wolfenstein fan. I really enjoyed the last few ones,
Yeah.
as well as Doom. I played Doom in the '90s until a lot of iterations of Doom going through the years. Doom 2, Doom 64.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk about Doom 3. Um,
So I got a question here, or a
Mhm.
thought here. Um, so what's the name of the guy who makes the Fallout games and the Skyrim games? Like the guy that's always leading the charge. Um, Hold on.
I'm
Todd
not sure who
Todd
you're talking about.
Todd Howard. Todd Howard.
Okay.
So Todd
Hmm.
Howard, you know that this guy, he's been with Bethesda for like 25 years or something like that. He's been
Hmm.
leading the helm of Skyrim and Fallout and all that shit. He's like one of those visionary boys. He's going to go over there. You know this guy had equity. He must have had equity in ZeniMax and Bethesda.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like he just
Stock
made
options,
a
definitely.
a buttload of money. So
Hmm.
do you think this dude, do you think he stays on for the long haul, or do you think that he's in like a contract and he'll just retire in 5 years, and then like the possible like narrative quality will dip for those big Western RPGs? You could probably argue that they've already started to dip. Mike is sneezing. He is still
Sorry
muted.
about
There he
that.
is. It's all right. Um, do you think that this guy will dip after 4 or 5 years, after whatever contractual period is done, or
Ooh, well, we've seen that happen before, haven't we?
yeah,
Who am I thinking of that did that?
Ken Levine?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's possible. Who knows? That's not something they would announce as part of this announcement because that would only, dip some stock price later.
I think
That's something that might come over time.
I'm not sure if Todd Howard has mentioned that he's sticking. I mean, he must be sticking on. I really doubt that he's leaving just yet. Did he tweet anything?
Mhm. I mean, this one man's not responsible for every one of these
I
great
know.
games, though. Even as much as one person in charge might be able to influence certain things or be like a tastemaker, this is these are massive undertakings. So as long as they can retain the talent, which I feel like I don't hear as many complaints about Bethesda and crappy game culture as like some companies.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Might be a nightmare working there for all I know. I can't say for sure because I don't work there. But
So
um,
I've been kind of like losing my faith in these in Bethesda, since 76 and Fallout um 4 people only consider it okay, really. Um
mhm.
and they didn't do any real updates to the engine. They could just kind of like upres their textures a bit. I assume this
Yeah.
will be a giant like kick in the ass to help get their technology on point.
Well,
You know what I mean?
didn't you enjoy Doom Eternal? I thought that was
That's id though. That's different. I feel like
but
it
still okay. I understand. I
that
understand what you're saying.
that's not the Skyrim engine. You know what I mean? They've been running off of that
Mm.
engine for like so long, and they must have a new one now, or at least I really hope they're going to have a new one now for Elder Scrolls 6 and for Starfield. At least I would think they would. And I feel like with the might of Microsoft behind them now, like there's absolutely no excuse for them to not. Know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, they will have that extra money behind them. I mean, Microsoft is not just a software developer; they do hardware.
Oh yeah.
So
And they do cloud
they,
computing.
yeah. So I'm just saying they're gonna, those server farms and everything. They're gonna have access to potentially a lot of resources that they wouldn't independently. So I just don't see how this could hurt anything.
Okay.
Um, my one thing though is that I just want to mention because they did mention this on Twitter. It says this does not necessarily mean that Bethesda games will not appear on other consoles. We've already seen that Microsoft purchased Minecraft, and Minecraft continued to be released
Yeah.
on other platforms.
They
It
have
came
part
out on Switch.
Yep. They have partnerships with Nintendo for other things like Ori.
Yes.
Ori is on those
So,
systems.
mhm.
Yeah.
so I believe it was someone from Xbox. I think it may have been Phil Spencer tweeted out that Bethesda games will still appear on other consoles on a case by
By
case
case basis.
basis.
Yeah. You sent me that.
So yeah,
Um
so we don't know exactly. That's not confirming that they will all make it to other consoles, but certainly not closing the door on it.
Yeah. So a really funny thing about this is that Sony has a couple timed exclusives coming from these studios.
Yeah.
So that means that Xbox is going to be publishing timed exclusives on PlayStation for pre-existing deals. Like
Yeah.
that game Deathloop is tied up in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah, but
just weird to think about, you know what I mean?
there's physical copies of Minecraft on Switch that say, Microsoft on them.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be the same thing for
So,
this. You're going to play this game on Sony, and the first thing you're going to get is a Microsoft Xbox Game Studio logo, and then
yeah.
and it's going to play on your PlayStation.
Yeah, but this is part of Xbox strategy right now, is that I think they're still recovering a lot of ground from the disastrous Xbox One launch, and
Yeah.
they've been trying to portray this image of that they're
Good
they're
guy
about
gamer.
gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they're the team player. They
Yeah.
were the first ones to do cross-platform play.
Yeah.
Sony got singled out on that they were unwilling to do it, even though they could,
Yeah.
and they kind of forced their hand on that for, was that Fortnite, Rocket League, is a bunch of games.
Call of Duty as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Xbox putting themselves more and more in the position that we're the nice guys.
Yeah.
And Sony plays a little bit more hardball, and Sony has been able to get away with that because of their extremely high quality games.
Yeah.
But this is a blow, man. I mean, this is they could withhold games. They could withhold a lot of high quality. Suddenly,
What I think
you're going to have.
I think for the big boys, for the Fallouts, the
Mhm.
the Starfields, that kind of thing,
Mhm.
I feel like they could very well. I don't think that they will be like, no, Sony, you can't get this, but I feel like they will do timed exclusives. I think they'll still do timed exclusives.
Timed.
Yeah, and be like,
Yeah.
Fallout is on Xbox and PC for X number of months, and then it can go to PS5. And then for like
That's what I would do.
and then for like their smaller studios, like if they make like an Outer Worlds 2, I could see them being like, this is console exclusive to Xbox and also on PC.
Yeah.
Like I think for all of these games, because they're all PC friendly, I think they all will be on Xbox and PC. I think that, like I said, I think the heavy hitters will make their way to PS5, but some of the smaller stuff, I don't think it'll ever make it to PS5.
It wouldn't surprise me if the smaller stuff goes to Switch.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I could see it.
none of it goes to PS5, and they say, "Fuck you, Sony."
Yeah, I could see that.
They could.
They certainly could do that.
They really could. Because they don't compete with Nintendo,
Not really.
but they do compete with Sony, and
Yeah.
Sony has hit them with some blows in the last decade or so.
Oh yeah.
And this could be some good payback. I'm not sure how vengeful Microsoft is, but
Nintendo's in like its own universe, really. You know, it's just like this weird thing that's out there. It's successful, but everybody knows that like it doesn't have the computing power of the other systems, so nobody expects it to.
yes. But Nintendo's whole thing is, we're not competing against Microsoft or Sony. We're our own thing. We're doing our own thing. They've been doing their own thing since Wii. They last competed on the hardware level on the GameCube, and it didn't work. And they said, forget it.
Yeah. Well, they made it difficult for developers with like their proprietary discs and stuff like that, right? And
yeah, well, they're always worried about piracy, but that worry has come at such a price.
Absolutely bit themselves in the ass. Imagine if they, I mean, this is 100% off topic. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But like, imagine if in the PlayStation N64 era, if they had just used a disc-based system like Sony did, it'd be a whole different world today.
Yeah, but, well, it would have depended, because, you saw what happened with Dreamcast. I had friends that just had burned discs, all burned discs for Dreamcast.
I definitely
no efficient
did.
games.
There was this one kid in my school who has since passed away. I didn't really need to mention that, but who used to charge $10 And well,
Mhm.
the first hit was $20 because the first time he would give you the boot disc and then a game of your choice, and then after that it was $10 and he would burn you a game for
Mhm.
Dreamcast. And he also gave
Mhm.
me a I mean, this stuff is all long gone and lost, but he gave me
Mhm.
the whole Sega library on 2 discs. I'm sorry,
Nice.
the whole Genesis library on 2 discs.
Mhm.
Well, whatever. Back
Yeah,
to
I
this
believe
though.
it.
Um,
Well, I mean, yeah, I played a lot of pirated games on Dreamcast too, so it's hard to say what would have happened, but hopefully not that. But anyway, go ahead.
so coming back to this, the where we're I think Starfield is going to be like the first major Bethesda game that will come out in this post acquisition landscape.
Yeah,
What do you think they'll do with it in terms of exclusivity?
I think it should be console exclusive.
Straight up console exclusive?
That's what I would do. Yeah,
It
they
had
need to show. Sony has really good exclusive titles. Microsoft has very few. This is their only opportunity to say this is Xbox only.
yeah.
I mean, it's going to
I
depend on sales though,
I
because if X,
I'm just going to
oh,
say
go ahead.
I agree with you,
Mhm.
and I feel bad for you
Yeah, I feel bad for me too.
cuz you're not a PC gamer, you're not an Xbox gamer. You're exclusively PlayStation and Nintendo Switch.
Not That's only because Xbox has never really had enough games for me to warrant wanting to purchase one.
Do you care enough about Bethesda though? I feel like you're not that guy.
I mean, no, yes and no. I mean, the thing is, right now, like I was not that big on Bethesda a few years ago, but the Doom remakes, the Wolfensteins. My wife's, like I said, a really big Dishonored fan.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not big on Elder Scrolls. I'm not big on Western RPGs in general, but you know those games I really enjoy, and it's gonna suck to not if potentially not get them.
Yeah.
And if I could get a good deal on an Xbox with those games, or just Game Pass, which, as you said, and lots of people have said to me, is a amazing deal, and I
Yeah.
could play through the few games that I am interested in. Maybe it's something I would consider in the future. I mean, game consoles drop in price; they don't stay,
Yeah.
the launch price, and Xbox goes down pretty quick.
So
Um,
because of your wife's love of Dishonored, if they said that Dishonored was a console exclusive, you would more or less be forced to get it, right?
I wouldn't say forced. I'm just saying that this would influence my decision.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I would love to just play everything on just one platform and not have to deal with all these multiple platforms.
Yeah.
And you know, but that's just not how gaming works. You got games over here, you got games over there, and sometimes you got to go. Well, I need to play these freaking games. I had to play Breath of the Wild, so I had to buy a Switch.
Yeah.
If there's a
Well,
game on
you didn't
Xbox that I
have to.
have to
That was
play, I
on
go
Wii
get it.
U. That was on Wii U.
No, I had to get it on Switch.
Okay.
I'm
All
not
right.
touching that fucking gamepad ever again.
I hear you. I'm sure it's really sticky anyway.
I put it back in the box, but yeah.
You keep the boxes?
Well, I got the Zelda Special Edition, so I did for that. Yeah,
Yeah. They're selling that at
I don't know.
my local game store. I think when I took you there, they had it there.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they
I
did
don't
have it
normally
there.
keep the boxes, but for limited edition, I do in case I ever sell it.
Understood. Understood. Well,
And that's honestly like the only limited edition console I think I have. But anyway, go ahead.
it's a very I'm just gonna say it's a very good move from Microsoft.
Mhm.
I think it's a pretty good move or a pretty good thing for gamers as well, especially if they already have a gaming PC because they'll have access
Mhm.
to a lot of this stuff on the cheap with Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody wins here except for Sony, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I hate to be like this, but Sony needs the competition.
Oh
They
my God, yeah.
they can't monopolize it. We don't want a monopoly on just one company controlling everything, because then quality is going to go down, because
Yeah.
there's no competition, there's no incentive for them to keep the quality up.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing in any industry. So we want there to be healthy competition. I say great for Microsoft. I say Sony, do something crazy too. Nintendo, buy Konami. Sony, buy Konami as well.
Oh my
Sony,
God!
take
Yeah,
Metal
Jesus
Gear.
Christ! Buy
Nintendo,
Konami,
take Castlevania.
dude.
Someone buy Konami.
Dude, somebody buy Konami. That would be fucking incredible. Are you kidding me? Oh my God! Oh my God! Suikoden. Somebody buy Konami and make Suikoden for me. Make Suikoden 3, please.
Sony would buy it and make Metal Gear. All sorts of stuff. Suikoden, Zone of the Enders,
Contra?
Castlevania.
Imagine if somebody made a good Contra again.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! There's so much out there.
Yeah.
Fuck it, make a Gradius. All that shit.
Yeah. There's possibilities.
That would be absolutely incredible. Well, you know that they were trying to buy WB Games, and
Who?
Microsoft.
Oh yes, I did hear about that.
A deal didn't come to fruition on that.
Mhm.
I don't think this was their backup. I mean, it's a $7.5 billion purchase, but like, they're making moves to make their, like what you were just saying, their first party stuff attractive, and they need it because Sony's just got all the games.
We got to address the criticism. This is
Yeah.
the criticism. There's no games. Now
Yeah.
we just bought an amazing game studio.
Yeah.
There they are.
Yeah. All right, and then they fucked up on day 2. Not really, but the
pre-orders.
The next thing I want to talk about are the pre-orders. The Sony pre-orders, which are a huge fucking disaster. I was unable to secure one.
Oh my God.
I believe you were unable to secure one.
I didn't try.
Yeah.
I was gonna wait until after launch, because I've had bad experiences with launch systems. You know, this is the time when you get a bricked console.
Yeah.
It's happened before. Probably not going to happen this generation.
No,
because
probably not.
Quality control's higher these days. But
Yeah.
I still, the early Switches had the Joy-Con problems.
Yeah. I just replaced the
There's always
Joy-Cons.
something. Yeah, there's always something with a launch system. So I like to wait a few months at least and let those first like major issues come out and get done. Plus, I hate battling people for a fucking launch system.
I know. But I really want to play Miles Morales. Anyway, we talked about
and I don't blame you.
We talked about
but
that
I want to purchase one like March of next year, like by the latest. But it's going to depend on scarcity too, because that was the big rumor. There's going to be really scarce, and might be true based on how shitty these pre-orders were.
Yeah. Also COVID, and that's probably why there's scarcity, is because Chinese factories are probably not at 100% capacity.
Yeah. Well, I heard chip shortages because there's other technology that's all competing for the same supply. I'm not sure.
That's how it always goes. So we did talk about Sony and that debacle last week. It's all fucked up. So this week, Xbox, they did go on sale on pre-order exactly when they said they were going to, but it didn't matter. Like the whole internet exploded. Basically, like every single site that was selling it, just
crashed.
Yeah, they all crashed. Yeah, Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon. I don't even know if they put them up at the same exact time as everybody. Target, all that shit, they all exploded.
I read that Xbox Series X, right? That's the current one, right?
No. Xbox One and
Xbox One X.
Yeah.
So Xbox One X's sale on Amazon went up 800% today, something like that.
Well, maybe
because people accidentally bought them.
Dude, your naming conventions are fucking insane. You think that grandma is going to be able to figure this shit out? Like, no way.
Yes, that's the problem. That's the same problem Nintendo had. I can't believe that they're doing. Granted, Sony is not clever with these names, but you can follow it. You can follow it very easily.
Dude, I'm fine with it not following. The reason why that they don't do Xbox 2, Xbox 3 is because, Xbox 2 sounds smaller than PlayStation 3, so we got to give it some other fucking name, and that's why they called it Xbox 360. But, like, it's just so insane. Like, You know what you should do? You should call it the year it fucking came out. Then it's the
Yeah.
Xbox 2020. You know, like
No, no one wants that.
why not, man? Just do it.
No one wants 2020 anything, man.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. In the chat, Bruno is saying when my mom thinks everything is a Nintendo. Yes, it's how my grandparents called all soda ginger ale for some reason.
Yes.
No one wants 2020. LOL. I understand what you're saying, but you know what I mean. If this year didn't suck as many cocks as it sucks, like just name it what it is. Name it the year it came out. Everybody will understand that. Or I don't know.
I guess I don't know. The naming conventions are terrible. Nintendo's very guilty of it too. But
800% increase.
yeah, but like I can't keep them straight. I'm a big time gamer. Xbox X, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X.
No, hold on. I got you. It's Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox One S, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. And then
well, now that you said it, it's so much easier.
And I'm sorry, and also Xbox S All Digital Edition, also known as the Xbox SAD.
Okay.
There, you got that straight now?
Yeah, now I got it.
Come on, what are you, stupid?
No, I mean I do have it. It's just it's not great.
I know, I'm just kidding. It's a fucking joke, is what it is. But I totally understand. I mean, I didn't hear that statistic, but that's really funny. I totally understand why that happened. It totally makes sense.
Well, I was just on Twitter today, and yes, in the last few days after Sony's event last week, just watching people just have, grown men have
meltdowns,
temper tantrums, and meltdowns. I give fucking, order this fucking console, site crashed.
Yeah.
Credit, got to the very end with your credit card information, and then it said sold out.
Yeah.
All the greats, all the heavy hitters, that I've seen before, and everything else.
I landed for the PlayStation because I'm still not pre-ordering an Xbox even with this news because I'll play these games will come out on PC. Like that's where I prefer to play Bethesda-esque games anyway. But so for the PlayStation 5, I got onto the Best Buy site and it was like, PlayStation both versions sold out, but they did have bundles available. So I was like, fuck it, I'm like, fuck it, I'll buy. This one that's got 2 controllers and a charging station. My girlfriend plays video games. She's definitely going to want to play with me. And I just keep clicking add to cart, and it just does nothing. The button is there. It's clickable. It's not like a grayed out button or anything. It's like a red button. It's just like nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm like, all right, well, fuck me then. And the same exact stuff happened with Xbox from what I heard some people saying. They were just clicking the button and just like nothing was happening. It wasn't it said it was going into the cart, nothing was going into the cart. Is there a good way to do this shit?
I heard people were going into Walmart to physically pre-order it.
Yeah.
And employees had no idea how to do it. I heard the only I would say easy way was if you went immediately as pre-orders opened to your local GameStop, and probably had to know someone, and they were able to get. I don't know about Xbox, but I heard that each GameStop was getting something like 20 of the disc versions and like 4 of the discless versions.
Yeah.
Like 24, 25 each.
The only time I was easily able to secure a launch system was in college. When you and I were in college, I worked at Circuit City, and I was
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Circuit City, and I was like, "Yo, can I just
really? It sucked, but
yeah, it did suck." But I was just like, "Yo, can I pre-order one of these?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure. We'll just secure you a slot." That was the only time I've ever been able to do it. The Switch, I stood in line for like 9 hours to get the Switch.
Yeah. Like a couple months after the Switch came out, I randomly was at Walmart and
I remember that
7 a.m.
Yeah.
And they had 2 they had just put out.
Yeah.
And I was like there as they were putting them on the shelf, and I was like, don't put that one there. Just hand it to me instead.
Just give me that one, dummy.
Yeah. Well,
So is there?
I heard that's the only way people. Oh, go ahead.
Is there a good way? Is there ever going to be a good way to do this?
No. With how things are on purchasing things online these days with bots,
Bots.
with
Yeah.
how sophisticated these resellers are
Yeah.
for a hot item,
Yeah.
anything, any hot item now
Yeah.
that goes online,
Yeah.
you're not getting easy. It's a fight. Um,
People are always like, fuck the resellers, like fuck
mhm.
these scam artists. Man, this country's fucked up. You got to do what you can to get ahead. I don't really blame them that much for being such horrible, miserable sons of bitches. But they're exploiting a weakness, and it's just the way it is.
Well, it is unfortunately our shitty ass capitalism society
Yeah.
is that if there's an opportunity for you to buy something at cost and make a profit on it,
Yeah.
there's nothing to stop you from doing it.
Why would you? Why would you not? I always think to myself,
Yeah.
I would love to do that, but there's no way that I could even purchase one for me. You know what I mean? Oh, did Mike freeze and
The
die
thing,
again?
like
Oh
if
no,
you,
no.
it's a lot.
I thought you. Yeah, you froze. You froze for a second. You're back. You're back.
Oh, sorry. You okay? Yeah. No. Like I said, you really seem to need to know someone for a lot of these things. It froze again.
Nope, you're good. You're back. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. We need to get you hardwired, brother.
Yeah. I think there might be some weather happening. I just heard something loud
All right. Well,
coming from the sky.
let's get to the last topic then. And
Sure. What was the last one?
this is not a normal topic for us. I just kind of wanted to talk about this off the cuff. We got spoopy season coming up, Halloween, October.
Ooh, one of my absolute favorites.
I wanted to talk about your favorite spooky games.
Ooh, spooky games are just kind of
Yeah,
Halloween-ish.
Halloweeny horror games, whatever. Like what are your favorite like creepy themed games? Give me like two.
Okay. Okay. Probably my absolute favorite, although I probably haven't played it since it came out.
You're gonna steal it
GameCube
from me. You're
classic.
gonna steal it from me. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can talk about it.
No,
I
go
have
ahead.
another
No,
one.
you talk about it. You talk about it. You talk about it. Go ahead.
Definitely Eternal Darkness on the
Yes.
GameCube. One of the absolute greatest horror games of all
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Very unique.
Uh-huh.
Probably well couldn't be done the way it was these days because things are so different. But
Yeah.
um, it had the famous insanity effects
Yeah.
where as it was like Lovecraft horror inspired. There were
Mm-hmm.
ancient evil gods
Yep.
that would drive you insane, literally.
Yep.
Um, so you had a sanity meter in the game, and as you
Yep.
became more and more crazy, you strange things would happen with the screen where it would flip. The game would seem to turn off.
Mm-hmm.
You'd lose your save file would suddenly say it was corrupted,
Yep.
which got me real bad one time where I flipped out only for it to be like, nope, you're just losing your mind in the game, and I'm like, you got me, you
Yeah.
got me.
Um,
The volume would go up and down.
That one is. I wanted to talk about that one specifically because, like, during the time that game was released, every single TV had the same exact fucking volume rocker on it.
Yeah,
like the
green one.
volume. Yeah, the green volume meter, and you would just watch it go down, and you'd be like, "Am I sitting on the remote?" And then it's like,
Yeah,
and then
always.
you would go and turn the volume up, and then the volume would come back on the game, and it'd be like blaring in your room.
Yeah. Always. I'd always be like, oh my God, I'm sitting on the remote. Is the dog in the room?
Yeah.
Got the remote somehow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Some great effects. Really fun story. You played throughout time. Each level you were not every level. Some levels you were the same character, but most levels you were a different character in a different time. All in the same areas.
Yeah.
Things would
Aren't they
some
all
would be similar but different
aren't they all
throughout
part
time.
of aren't they all part of the same lineage in some way?
No,
Some
not
of them are.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Some of them are from the same family.
Okay.
The your protagonist, the girl who's inherits, I think her father's mansion,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. She's a descendant of a few different people, but like her descendants were all exploring the same mansion through different time periods. Then you have people in like a French castle, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, different time periods, including World War One or two. I think it was World War One.
Yeah, I think it's one.
Uh, for one period there, but like you go to Charlemagne's time, to almost current era. There's a temple in Iraq, I believe,
Yeah.
and in the one of the later stages, you're a firefighter fighting the fires
Oh
from
yeah.
Desert Storm.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you're there in like
Ancient.
BC times.
You're ancient Greece, right?
Uh,
Or
so yeah, like
it's either Greek or Roman. I can't remember, but that's like the guy
there's Roman times because you're Roman centurion
Roman.
in one
That's
of
right,
them.
Roman. So like the first guy that you play as ends up becoming like one of the main antagonists of the game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He somehow gets becomes like a servant of the evil gods.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so weird.
And the craziest thing about the game is that you can play in a way where you destroy one of the gods at the end of each playthrough, right?
Yes.
And then there's a fourth and final playthrough where you can kill
Yes.
like the fourth like lead god of these Cthulhu-esque like eldritch gods. And the different, I remember like the whole magic system basically, and it was like these
Yes.
these runes that you would use, and they would whisper like the names of the gods in this horrible creepy way to do certain effects on the screen. One of the sanity effects that got me so bad, and you made me play this game. I played this in college. You showed it to me. Was there's one time I was reloading my gun, and instead of reloading the gun, my character just put the gun in her mouth and shot herself in the head.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? And you think you're like, is that it? It's because it says game over and everything. And then the screen flashes really quick, and all of a sudden you're standing in the middle of a bunch of monsters that were just coming at you. And you're like, oh my God, shit, the game is still going. I put the controller down. Like, I got to get back in on this.
Yeah.
That
I
is
also
a game,
remember that.
just one sentence. That is a game that's begging for a remake. Go ahead.
Oh, it really is. Well, you also, some characters had alcohol, and you would actually drink and get drunk to regain your sanity.
Oh yes.
Remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
It was called Liquid Courage, I believe.
Yeah. Dude, what a fucking game.
Oh man.
So that studio is gone, right? Isn't that like Silicon Knights or something like that?
Yeah, they're gone. If I remember correctly, there was a Kickstarter to do some kind of reboot.
Yeah.
And it failed.
That's depressing.
Yeah,
I didn't know about it.
Look up on that.
I would have given them money for sure.
It's something I heard about after the fact.
Okay.
I'd have to look that up, but a great game from 2002, so it's very old at this point, but just a cool concept, very very original.
I played a game recently
right here
with like kind of similar effects, sort of similar effects. I not really, because it's in a different lens. I played Senua's Saga recently, and there's lots of things that she's got something. I want to say it's schizophrenia. She like a lot of her like visual and audio stimulus is very, that's not the right word, not stimulus, but the way that she processes audio and visual is very strange. Like she hears things that aren't there, she sees things that aren't there all the time. It made me think I loved Senua's Saga, but when I was playing it, I was like, man, I want to play Eternal Darkness again, like real bad.
So here, I'm gonna put this in the
chat
Discord for you.
Okay.
So this is a spiritual successor that got canceled. It was called Shadow of the Eternals.
Shadow of the Eternals.
It's more complicated than so I guess it did get picked up.
That was 7 years ago. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was never completed. It canceled back in 2018.
Precursor Games, staffed by many former Silicon Knights members, have begun crowdfunding a campaign through PayPal seeking $1.5 million, that's it, to create a spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness under the Shadow of the Eternals, to be released for Microsoft Windows and Wii U. Oh, God. Well.
Yeah, that's how old it is, yeah.
All right, well, whatever. That would have been lovely. I want to talk about one that I feel like everybody loves, and there's just like, it's not really that scary. There's definitely some really creepy shit in it, but it's Something I hope doesn't get remade, but I know it's going to get remade. Can you guess?
Mm-hmm. No, what is it?
Resident Evil 4.
Oh, it doesn't need to be remade.
I know it doesn't need to be remade, but I feel like it is going to be remade. I feel like
Well, they've already hinted that they're doing it, which is such a shame because they need to do Code Veronica.
they absolutely should not do Resident Evil 4. I just don't think that they could do a remaster. They could upscale it. They could, if you're gonna remake it like almost 1-to-1 and just like rebuild everything as it is and just make it look beautiful. Do you know what I mean? That's how I would remake it. But Resident Evil 4,
No, just
go ahead.
no. Do Code Veronica. Code Veronica needs the remake. Okay, it went. This is the craziest thing too, is that Resident Evil 1
Mike,
and 2.
Mike,
Yes.
can you tilt your camera down a little bit? I'm just seeing like I need your chin in there somewhere, a little bit.
Is it better?
There you go.
Better?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 1 and 2 were developed as Resident Evil 1 and 2. Resident Evil 3 was actually meant to be a side story. And Code Veronica was meant to be Resident Evil 3. Did you know this?
Yes, I did know this. Keep going though.
So there was like a whole dispute because Code Veronica was going to come out on Dreamcast as a Sega exclusive, timed exclusive because it came out later. And Sony ended up fighting with them, and Nemesis got the name of Resident Evil 3, and Code Veronica got the name of Code Veronica. But Code Veronica is really more of a Resident Evil game. It's longer.
It doesn't.
3 is definitely more of a side story because it reuses a lot of assets.
That's what I was going to say. I assume I've not played Code Veronica, but I assume it doesn't reuse assets like 3 does.
No, it's a brand new game. It's really Resident Evil 3. It really is meant to be.
Yeah.
And it's been disrespected basically its whole existence.
Yeah.
And continues to be.
I actually did not get the Resident Evil 3 remake. One, because I didn't care for Resident Evil 3, the original. And two, I was like, yo, these reviews are just like mediocre. Resident Evil 2 remake is one of the most mind-blowing things ever. It's insane. Like, did you play that remake?
I played 2. I haven't picked up 3 yet.
Yeah, I'm just asking about 2 right now. Like, that shit's nuts, right?
2,
it doesn't.
2 is spectacular.
Yeah, it's so much better than than you ever thought it possibly fucking could be.
But it's not only that, the graphics, everything about it is great. Yeah. 3 I didn't pick up for the same reasons. I heard just bad things.
Yeah,
bad reviews. It's very sad.
Yeah, but anyway, Resident Evil 4. I'm sure anybody who listens to this has played. I hope to God you've played Resident Evil 4. At least watch somebody play Resident Evil 4. It was a total.
At least got chainsawed by that zombie at the beginning.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Get your head cut right off on GameCube, which was very shocking to me. I mean, it was a total shakeup of the Resident Evil formula. It was more pushed in an action direction, but it still felt good because the controls were still like tanky and stuff. And you didn't feel like an unstoppable killing machine like I guess you are in like Resident Evil 6. I didn't even play it.
I did. It's nothing to talk about.
Don't do that. Instead of it being like lumbering zombies, it's like there are some lumberers in there, but like they use like real weapons, sort of pitchforks and fucking shovels and hatchets and chainsaws, and it's not even just like zombie cells or whatever like it is in the other games. It's a parasite that lives inside of their body and bursts out of their fucking neck cavities. It's like this horrible, amazing, disgusting body horror, and it freaked me out when I was a kid. Like, I mean, I wasn't that young. That was high school, and I remember like getting the willies the first time I saw like a head explode and like that horrible Geiger thing come out of it, like Geiger monster come out of it.
It's everything's so gray in it. It's like all
very
washed out,
very dour and dank. It's got some some really silly, corny B-movie shit in it that's like cringeworthy, but like entertaining in some way. It's like a good bad movie, you know.
One complaint: it has some bad escort mechanics. That's one thing that could be improved.
Yeah, Ashley is the worst.
She's so stupid,
Yeah.
and um, you can't kill her, even though you really want to.
And if you try to look up her panties, she gets mad.
Yeah,
I read about that. I didn't try it. I swear. I tried it.
you didn't try it.
Of course I
I mean,
tried
no,
it.
I didn't either.
Of course I tried it. Actually, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a joke.
I played it on Wii. It actually really benefits from those motion controls.
I would argue the
Um,
best version of it is on the Wii.
yeah, the motion controls on the Wii, they're not like the waggle controls, but there's what would you call it? Wiimote aiming, I guess.
Yeah, you like the sensor bar.
Yeah, and the
The pointer.
aiming is super natural in it. I mean, I played it on PS2 as well, which
Yeah.
so it's also good. But the controls on Wii were excellent.
I played it on GameCube and Wii.
Yeah, I think I played on PS2.
Yeah.
Maybe a little. Maybe I played on GameCube as well a little bit too. But
Wasn't it a timed exclusive on GameCube?
it was actually part of the infamous Capcom 5. Do you remember that?
No. What else? What was on there? Killer 7? Is that that? Is that them?
Well, yes, as part of it, Capcom announced the Capcom 5. There are going to be 5 exclusive games for GameCube.
Yeah.
Only 4 of them came out. The 5th
Okay.
one never did. And they were all going to be exclusive, and almost all of them ended up getting ported
Do you remember
after
what they
the
all
fact.
are?
It really pissed off Nintendo. Yeah, it was Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
It was Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe. Good game.
Yeah, which got ported too. It was a Killer 7.
Killer 7. Yeah.
And all of those got ported. And then the only one that didn't, which is the one that no one remembers, which was PN03, I think it was called.
No idea. Never heard of it. And what was the one? What was the one that didn't come out?
I remember the name perfectly.
Piano 3.
I can't remember which one didn't come out, but here's PN03. It was.
What are those chimes going off in your house?
Oh, those are wind chimes. I told you the weather's kicking up all of a sudden.
Shit. Piano 3. Oh, I recognize this box art. Here, I'm gonna put this up on.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a good way to put this up on screen. Hold on. Actually, I do. Hold on. Let me just do. This looks super familiar. This Piano 3. I know I have seen this box.
It came out. It came out. It was Project number 3, I think it was the full title. Okay. So this is the one that wasn't released. It was called Dead Phoenix. It was going to be similar to Panzer Dragoon. Never came out.
Okay. No, never heard of that one.
Yeah, but the rest this is a whole big controversy back in the GameCube days where these were going to be big time GameCube exclusives. Yeah. GameCube was coming out with its killer app. Capcom reneged in the deal. I believe they had to pay some money back to Nintendo, but they made more of it by porting the game, so it didn't matter.
Okay.
Pretty much just by porting Resident Evil 4 because it fucking got ported everywhere.
So
and it was a massive success.
Bruna just pasted me a little bit of info on Piano 3. It's a, in quotation marks, girl game to avoid similarities with Devil May Cry and Resident Evil. The game designers emphasize defensive and rhythmic maneuvers in a delicate, quote-unquote, feminine game world.
Oh. Sounds hot.
All right. All right, man.
I never played it.
What you playing? We're into an hour 3 here, technically 53 minutes.
Oh, well, I have not been playing anything new because I've been working a lot, and I'm still playing Ys 8.
Yeah.
And I'm only got maybe 4 hours on since we last talked, so not much is new on that.
Okay. That's all you got?
I haven't had a lot of time. I've been doing a lot of house stuff in the last week and adult crap.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll talk to you about my shit. It's not that much. Last week or 2 weeks ago. Oh God, I can't even remember. I started playing Breath of the Wild, like I told you, and I was in my head. In my head, I was like, I'm gonna get every shrine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna level up all the armor. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm gonna build out Tarrytown. I'm gonna do it all, and then by day 7 of streaming, by day 7 of streaming it, I was like, I'm just gonna beat the game. So I
Really?
yeah,
Oh no.
so I got all the divine beasts, because I'm doing it on stream. I'll do the rest of it on my off time. I think it's a good game to just wind down with, but it's a variety channel. I like to do a lot of different stuff. Getting locked onto one thing is
I
a
mean, it's
little
a
bit, yeah.
good game just in general. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So I beat the divine beasts. I went and I murdered Ganon. I did get the master sword. At the end of the game, I believe I had gotten 57 shrines. So not even half.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I mean, I only played it the one time, but I did every shrine when I did.
I also did.
Um, but I basically couldn't stop playing when I was playing it the first time. It
Yeah,
was
me neither. I
incredible.
That's the problem with it. I could play it forever. I could absolutely play it forever. I even
Yeah.
I even learned one little speed running technique that helped me get around the map a lot faster.
Mhm.
You jump off a ledge, you drop a circle bomb, and then pull out an arrow to freeze time real quick. You tap the arrow button to freeze time, and then you drop a square bomb right behind that. You wait until all three of you are leveled together. You blow up the circle bomb, the square bomb hits you in the ass, and you just go fucking flying. And you can pull out the glider, and you go so fast that like the game can't even load properly. It's like got to catch up and shit.
Nice.
It's a very fun way to get around the map. And lastly, today I played like a good 5 hours of Hades, which is a roguelike dungeon crawler game from Supergiant Games, who makes Bastion and Transistor and Pyre. They're a spectacular company. They make amazing games. The game is great. Didn't have many people watching. It's kind of a bummer. I want to keep playing it, but you know how it goes, or maybe you don't. But that game,
No, I don't.
that game is amazing, and it did just come out on Switch, and I would recommend you to grab it on Switch. It's a great time waster. It's not even a time waster. It's incredibly deep. I would recommend it 100%. It's like a 10 out of 10 for real.
Cool.
And it just got its 1.0 release, which is why it's on Switch now. And that's all I really got.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said you were gonna start doing some holidays, some Halloween streaming. What are you gonna play?
Well, I mean, we'll start that in October, but I have in my mind right now, I want to play for sure Bloodborne because one, it was requested, and two, I think it would be good for that time period because it's a spoopy kind of game with a lot of creepy creepy beasties in it. And I did grab a copy of Luigi's Mansion 3, which I never played. And I really like Luigi's Mansion. I really like Luigi's Mansion. What is it called? New Moon? What was the one on DS?
Dark Moon, I
Dark
think.
Dark Moon. I really like that. I never played 3. I got it now. I'm going to play that on stream.
Okay.
There's probably some other stuff out there I could do that I would enjoy, but those are the two that I have in my head right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think those are some good choices.
Do you guys do any spooky gaming during that time? Does Emily like to do anything like that?
Well, Emily always likes horror games,
Yeah.
so I know she's playing Yakuza right now
Yeah.
in the other room, the first one,
Yeah.
which she's way into, but I believe she's about to beat it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We did the Evil Within a few years ago, and I know we've had the Evil Within 2
Yeah.
for a while, but haven't popped it in.
That might be the one then. That might be the one.
It's possible. You know, she's a big Silent Hill fan, but you know, that's another one where there hasn't been a new game in
Well, that's
especially
Konami.
a good game.
Microsoft by Konami. All right, that's going to do it for this week. What?
Not Microsoft. Sony by Konami.
No.
Or better yet, Nintendo by Konami. If Nintendo owned Castlevania,
No. Nintendo do not buy Konami. No, because you need you need Metal Gear coming out on the best hardware. You can't be doing that on Nintendo.
but if Nintendo took Castlevania and Bomberman and Mystical Ninja, this is a bunch of great Konami games. Remember Mystical Ninja?
Of course, I remember Mystical Ninja. Do you mean the Adventures of Goemon?
Yeah, it's actually Goemon.
Goemon. Anyway,
well, when I played it, it was called Legend of Mystical Ninja.
Me
but
too.
Regardless,
I played it on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, you got Rocket Knight. There's a bunch of good shit, you know.
I would say though, for me, Sony, please buy Konami. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks a lot, Mike. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.
All right, just on Xbox. Good night, Nick.
Bye.